Let's go. Let's rock.
Okay, welcome everybody to another remote session of this that I know is your favorite show. This is called Estante. And today I have a really cool visitor. I am very happy to have like a true rock star, really, not just one of the greatest rock voices I've had the chance to interview, but also a really cool guy that has done a lot of stuff in his life. And he's going to be, you're going to be able to hear him play live in the next few days, both in Monterrey, Nuevo León, and here in Mexico City. Please welcome Erick Martin. This is your home.
Oh, so Mexico. Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Erick Martin right here, or Erick Martin's father. You can have camera one, camera two, camera one, anything you want. I'm going to need these glasses if that's okay.
Of course. Yeah. Look, I also have glasses, and these are my Zoom glasses. I mean, if you see me on the street, I have the street glasses, then there are the reading glasses. Yeah, you know.
I say to the audience that you probably see me wearing my glasses out in the crowd. And then when I get on stage, you know, I just say, you're the best looking audience I've ever seen in my life. Right? And they go, yay, what? Right. But I just wear these glasses because they make me look smart.
Oh, I bet you are smart. It's not that you know.
Yeah, that none of the women in my life, they think the opposite. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh, so, okay. No, not talking about the criteria of why women have chosen you. No, that's.
Yeah, I think it's because they want to laugh. That's it.
Well, that's a good virtue, actually. I think.
So. I mean, it's, it works for me. It works for me.
Yeah, and people say that is a sign of intelligence also. Humor.
Who are these people? I want to shake
biologists, evolutionary biologists. They say that people who have a sense of humor actually are more intelligent than people who don't.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Let's finish this. Let's see if we can get through this interview without a scratch.
Okay. Okay, I'll try my best. Okay, so where in the world are you, first of all? Because I know you've been traveling all over the world. Where are you now?
Well, I was in Massachusetts last night, and New Jersey. I played a couple of shows this weekend. I live in Northern California, a little outside of San Francisco, 20 minutes from the Golden Gate Bridge, if you know my area.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's called Marin County. Wow, look at me. I'm about ready to like tell the address of my house right now. Don't do that.
But you've spent most of your life there in California, right? We associate you with the California scene since very young, right?
Yeah. But I actually was born in Queens, New York, and lived in Long Island, I was born in Long Island and I lived in Queens. I can't remember it so far back. It's like 100 years ago.
Oh yeah, but your musical career has mostly been in California, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I made my first record in 1983 on Elektra Records. And the band was actually called 415, the area code of San Francisco. And then our manager, Herbie Herbert, said, I think we should focus on Erick. You know, he's the lead singer and he writes a lot of songs. So we should call it the Erick Martin Band. And everybody in the band was like, I hate that name. And me personally, I was like, it's got a nice ring to it, you know?
but you still have an Erick Martin band, right?
I have a bunch of Erick Martin bands. I have the original with a keyboard player named Dave Jacobson, Tom Duke, bass player, and then John Nyman, guitar player from Y&T. You guys familiar with the great mighty Y&T? And then Troy Laketta, who he's the drummer for Tesla in America, and then me. And yeah, I mean, that was the original from 83 to, I mean, no, actually, that was the original from almost 80 to 84. And then I had another Erick Martin band in 85 to 87. And then the Erick Martin band just went out the window when Billy Sheehan gave me a call, and it became Mr. Big. And there was no Erick Martin. It was like Billy Sheehan, you know, like I say this a lot, where the first album, people kind of knew who I was, not really. And then a Lean Into It album came out, and To Be With You hadn't been on MTV yet. And my face wasn't plastered all over. So I'd come back after the show, and I'd shake hands and kiss babies and write autographs and stuff. And they'd go, "You're the singer, dude. They just saw me play, right? You're the singer, dude." I go, "My name is Erick Martin." They go, "Whatever. Hey, could you go get Billy and Paul?" All the time.
No,
Oh, I swear, if I had a stack of Bibles, I would tell you it's God's honest truth. And then, but this is kind of embellishment in this part. I'd go, this happened once when Lean Into It came out, or I mean, I'm sorry, To Be With You was plastered all over. I went out to the loading dock, or, you know, where the fans are. And I said, and they go, "You're the," and I go, "Erick Martin." They go, "The To Be With You guy." That happened once and it stuck. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, since then they know me now as Erick Clapton, Martin, whatever.
So who are you playing with here in Mexico City? Who's coming?
So I'm going to have a backup band with me. I'm not too sure. You know, I work with I have a Latin American band, and then I have a South American band. But I think some of the guys that are playing with me in Mexico, I think, oh man, I don't want to say, because man, there's a guy named Ricardo, just like yourself. There's Danielle, whatever. But as guys that I've toured with and played with, you know, that sometimes the name, I don't want to get their names wrong, because what if they go, there is this one guy that I'm playing with, I can't remember his last name, Ignacio, but anyway, and he's a phenomenal guitar player. They have studied a lot of Mr. Big songs, and they're really good. I mean, I even wrote, I think I might have talked to Richie Costa, Brazilian, going, and he goes, "Well, what are you doing out there?" And I go, "Well, you know, it's like a Chuck Berry thing, where I kind of fly in. I've already worked out the band that I'm going to work with through a promoter, and they learn all the Mr. Big songs that I've chose, and they learn a couple more that they like. And then sometimes, you know, I'll take selected cuts from my solo years, and they'll learn that. But I just fly in, rehearse one day, and we play like a bunch of weeks, and they're so far so good. There's no bad player. They're really talented. And look, they got a lot of work to do, you know, I mean, to kind of step in the shoes of Paul Gilbert and Billy Sheehan and Pat Torpey. They better be good, you know. I'm just saying.
So you have already played with them here, or is this the first time you
I haven't played with the guys in Lima yet, but I have played with the two guys, Ricardo and Danielle. I don't know my brother's name is Danny, right? I grew up with him as Danny, but now that he's grown up into a man now, I want to be called Dan. So
Dan, not even Danielle, not even the full Danielle.
No, it's Dan. I'm like, wow, pretty macho. So yeah, I've played with those guys. They're phenomenal. So,
and it's going to be mostly Mr. Big songs then.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that bad?
No, I don't think anybody's going to complain.
No. Yeah, no. I'm going to come out and I go, "Hey, everyone, thanks so much for coming. I'm going to play the entire Dark Side of the Moon album by Pink Floyd. You're cool with that?"
I'm pretty sure people would be cool with that. I mean, because a large attraction is just hearing your voice. I mean, I was not exaggerating, saying you do have this not just a very good voice, but a voice that was part of the voices that define a certain way of singing that we still associate with this more bluesy side of glam. And to this date, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are starting to sing rock right now have you as an inspiration.
I'm blown away. Thank you. The kindest compliment that a singer can get. You know, when I was growing up, I used to think guys like, Paul Rogers, when you hear that voice of Bad Company and Free, it's distinctive, and anything he does. I used to say the same thing about Bryan Adams. Anything that guy sings, he could sing the Telephone Book and it sounded incredible. Steve Perry. I mean, Steve Perry's got that one thing, that awesome R&B Sam Cooke kind of sound. doesn't have a lot of gravel, but he's very clean, but he's so unique in a way, where anything you hear out there on the radio. Anyway, I reserved those type of singers as the distinctive ones. I don't even look at sometimes I hate the way I talk is so gravelly and dark. Everybody goes, "Are you okay?" And I don't know. I'm blown away. Thank you very much for saying that. I mean, am I at that level of my career where people go, "Oh, that's Erick Martin"? God, I'm going to have to get a bigger doorway for my head.
I mean, I've read comments on Twitter and on social media, and that's how people talk about your voice, right? Because also something I like about how you talk about how you come to your vocal style is how it has taken from so many places. And it's not just soul and R&B, but also a little bit more, I don't know how to say it, a little bit of more operatic sides as well. So you have this like a whole palette from where you draw in order to.
I draw my inspirations from a lot of Motown music when I was growing up. The cleaner voices, and when they sang or sung, they could hold the notes really long. I kind of really like that instead of always attacking. Rock and roll is kind of like like that all the time, and it's great. But I like the more like Frank Sinatra, even Motown, the smoother voices incorporated with the rasp of, when I said I was like listening to Motown, but there was a record company, two record companies called Stax and Volt back in the day. They merged, and a lot of their artists like Otis Redding had that, the best of both worlds, had that smooth crooner voice, but had this gravel that was just so powerful and attacked, and it sounds sexual. Sorry, you kids at home. You kids at home, you might want to put on headphones. We're talking to your parents now. So, and I was influenced by all this kind of guys, and then the British invasion came for me, and I'm not talking about just Beatles or Stones. I'm talking about Paul Rogers, my hero. His voice had this, it wasn't gravelly, it had this tenor, like when a trumpet hits, and that attack, but it still had a melodic note to it. I'm getting way too weird and deep right now, but I love Paul Rogers, and then Steve Marriott from Humble Pie. You kids at home, you got to get schooled. You got to listen to this stuff. You want to be singers, or you just want to love awesome, stuff from the 70s. Man, Humble Pie, even Paul Rogers. God, who else did I like back in the day? And then later on in life, Dio, God, Ronnie James Dio, Lou Gramm. There's another huge hero of mine. I like those guys that were influenced by music that I was influenced by. They clearly listened to soul music, and then they probably, like me, probably had a couple too many whiskeys one day and it just stuck. I don't drink anymore, but it just stuck, and now I got this gravel.
But do you remember how or when you realized that you could do it, that you could sing, that you were not just going to listen, that you were going to sing?
I was really, so my dad was a drummer, and, that was the only instrument in the house. So I learned how to play drums. I wasn't great. I have like 3 beats, or like kind of funky. But I was in a band when I was really young, about 12 maybe. And there was I lived on army posts and bases pretty much most of my younger life. My dad was in the army, and the guys in this little band that I was in were older. One of them was a GI. He was an army guy, He was awesome. He was a bass player. Check this out. This is the best name ever. Lucky President. Dude, that is the best. So Lucky President, Chris Madow, I think was his name, was a guitar player. I mean, this is 70s, man. And then the singer, I can't remember his name, African-American kid, walks in. He goes, I quit. I don't want to be in this band anymore. And I'm like, what? Or something happened and he didn't show up, right? Or he left. And we were listening to a song called Get Ready, because here I come. You know, I think it's Get Ready, because here I come, maybe the Temptations. And Rare Earth, this band did it, and the drummer sang, right? And I went, oh, he goes, we could, you know, they put the record on. You can do this. Man, I was like 4 feet tall. You know, I could barely even read this, you know, or reach the cymbals. And the microphone's down here, and it was all awkward. It's like this vibe, but I did it. And the band, I mean, this is so long ago, I'm not quoting here. And I'm just saying they might have said, your drumming sucks. You're a better singer. And that might have been it. And from then on, I learned all kinds of other instruments, guitar and piano. And I don't read music, unfortunately, bad singer, but I have a pretty good ear and I picked up all these instruments, but the singing was just came natural. And it came natural, but you know, my mother had a great voice. She didn't like this. None of my family, except my dad and myself, liked the spotlight. Oh God. More spotlight, the better. My dad was like holding court constantly. Get that spotlight on me. Da, 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 you know, but my mother could sing in choirs and glee clubs. And I know I got it from her. She had her vibrato. She was like, my throat's a little sore right now, so I'm going to embarrass myself on this here thing here. But she was like, I like coffee. I like tea. I like the Java and it likes me. You know, she had that thing, you know, and I know I got that from her. But and then I got my drumming and timing skills from my dad, and my clownish behavior from my dad. And yeah, that's it, me.
But what about composing? When did you start composing? How did you go from singing to?
Well, I think I want to say, I mean, To Be With You wasn't my first song. I mean, I wrote a lot of stupid songs before. I thought To Be With You was just like a little nursery rhyme thing, just to get over on my sister's girlfriends. And then I kind of wrote a good portion of the chorus and the first verse. Hold on, little girl, show me what he's done to you. The idea of it came from this girl that I really liked, who was kind of a poet and a really not spiritual, really cool, beautiful. It was like, Buster, we're just friends. And I was inspired by her because she wrote lyrics. She had a journal of lyrics, and I'm not lyrics, but poetry. And I think maybe I took some of this poetry and wrote some songs to it. But on To Be With You, that was one of my first songs that people went, that's pretty good. You know, all the rest of it was like, you got a good voice. You know, that's it. And I remember I wrote this one song. I lived with I was kind of a troublemaker when I was a kid, and I had to go live with my dad. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so I went to live with my dad, and he lived at 1942 or 1942 Howard Street, San Francisco. And I wrote a song about that, you know, so yeah. And I remember he had a little TIAC reel-to-reel.
Okay.
And you could do like 2 tracks on it. And he had like one of these big, thick microphones, and we didn't have a microphone stand. So he turned an ironing board upside down. So it kind of went like that. And he put the microphone here and maybe another tiny microphone here. And he was like, you know, and I had played acoustic guitar and I sang, and he played bongos, you know, and we sang these songs. And it was like, God will see that we make it. That was one song. 1943, Howard Street, San Francisco. I'm the one who wants to be with you. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even have it finished. I sang the same verse twice and a chorus. You know, it wasn't until years and years later. I mean, I wrote songs after that. I got better. I wrote a lot of crappy songs, and they're all on a cassette, buried so deep in King Tut's tomb in my house. No one will ever see, or they will never see the light of day. But some of them made it, and they went to, you know, the Erick Martin band and solo projects and all that. But before I joined Mr. Big, around 88, I worked with a guy through a publishing company named David Graham, and he was great. He was a bass player, and he was in a play called Beatlemania, a musical. And so, I mean, he was major Beatle influence. And I loved the Beatles when I was growing up. I was more of a Stones fan, but I loved them, obviously, the melodic twists and turns of the Beatles, and especially what he did to this little campfire song that I had. He did this thing I never heard of before. You can modulate from, you're playing an E, and you can go right to, you know, G or C or whatever. And so he did that. And he also helped me with the second verse a little bit, and just modulation. And I even used his idea, and I put it in Just Take My Heart as well. That modulation thing. I was like, if it ain't broke, no, if it ain't broke, that, you know, you don't need to be fixed. So yeah, I rewrote or perfected To Be With You with this David Graham guy. And then in 89, I showed it to Billy, and I showed it to Paul Gilbert first, just to get over, because he's an incredible guitar player, but his influence, one of them are the Beatles. So I went, I don't know how to talk to this guy at all, with all these notes flying around. And he's kind of a quiet, introverted guy. And I was like, he goes, do you have any music? And I'm like, I have a cassette. And listen to this. And he goes, God, it sounds like the Beatles. That was it. You know, sorry for the long answer.
No, that's the kind of answers I was also looking for. So since the beginning, you knew that this song was different from the rest of what you were doing and with Mr. Big.
Oh, well, I knew I was into Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young more than the Beatles. And then when I met this guy, David, he put a more Beatles spin to it, which was, you know, like, again, you know, I do hybrids a lot, rock and soul. My whole life is like that. So I knew that it was a good song. I knew it was great because everybody, I mean, girls liked it. I'm telling you, man, girls were like, oh, that's really pretty. That's a sing-songy type chorus. I'm like, yeah, you like that? I don't have a gift of gab. I don't know how to talk to girls, really. I just do it through, you know, I may be, sorry if I'm at home, you can edit this. I may be bullshitting a little bit, but playing the guitar and singing and having girls go, oh, you know, was like, I think this is a great song.
And then when it became successful, did you feel like pressured to deliver something similar to...
Are you kidding? Of course. I never felt pressured. No, I did feel pressured, but not, I knew it was coming. You know, when you look, I didn't know what it was like to have a hit, but then when I had the hit and it was mega, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I rode that wave for a long time, and it still do. It's a smaller wave, but it still keeps me afloat. See how I'm doing this, but so after that year of Mr. Big, 1992, and then spilling over to 93, it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I just knew that the record company would be like, give me that next To Be With You. And that's when I went, oh, good Lord. When I wrote To Be With You, I knew it was a great song, but I didn't think hit song. I'm a rock singer. We don't think that way. We're not, people do, people write a lot of pop songs. I hope it gets on the radio. I hoped it got on the radio, but I wasn't thinking like pushing the numbers. And I was like, I wasn't thinking, business guy. I was just like, I hope it gets on the radio. But the people that are just out there at these Mr. Big gigs, there was no radio for Mr. Big in the beginning. It's just word of mouth, and came kind of it was like all underground. A lot of dudes came to the Mr. Big shows. Nobody came for me. No, a lot of dudes, right? And then when To Be With You came out, Lean Into It, Green to the 60s Mine, hordes of everybody. But I knew that the record company would say, let's give me that next pop stuff. And we wrote our Bump Ahead album, which is the third album. I think we had a song which I loved, and I thought it would have been a cool radio song, called Promise of the Moon. But they weren't having it. They were like, you guys got to come up with we got to chase that To Be With You tale. And I knew you had to play the game. I didn't want to play the game, but I knew you had to. Paul, and mainly Paul, was like, this is unacceptable. No way. I'm a rocker, man. Nobody's going to tell me what to do, in a way, right? And he even wrote a song. I don't remember what. I think it was a B-side for something, maybe. But he wrote a song called 7 Impossible Days. And it was about the 7 impossible days, trying to come up with a formulaic pop tune. And we were like, what the hell? What are we doing? This is not the way we work. So he goes, I'm down a half step. So, but he goes, and I'm out of tune. But he goes, what's that? It's a Cat Stevens song, right? I go, yeah, it's called Wild World. And he goes, oh yeah, Wild World. Let's do that. And that's what it was. We went, okay. And Cat Stevens, I loved Cat Stevens big time. But, and his version of his song, it sounded like he was just kicking a guitar case for the. It might be my big break and show what you do. All right. So, where am I at in this conversation? I forgot.
You about the covering Cat Stevens, and you were talking about Cat Stevens version. It seemed to be hitting the.
So Cat Stevens, yeah, and when you hear Cat Stevens, he sounds like he's kicking his guitar case, and that's it was like, but it was just a guitar case he was hitting, and we took the spirit of that, but we made it Mr. Big, right? And oh my God, it did sound great. And Paul was like, all right, this sounds pretty good. And I understand, because we'd written what we thought was a really great album, was going to sound great live. Everything, if it didn't spark us to the only, how do I say this? Just say it, Eric. Don't make a big deal about it. It had to sound great live. This was, we didn't care about the radio stuff. We did, but we didn't. All we cared about was how it was going to sound live. And he said, well, Wild World, man, this is a good song. Yeah, let's do it. So we did it, and it went, it shot up. It didn't go number one, but it was like top 20 Billboard charts. And then, again, the same thing, next album, give me that hit. But after a while, they respected us enough to they gave us a seat at the table, a little higher chair at the table. So we got to pick our own stuff. But it's the way it is. It's the way of the world, and it's not that bad. Hey, look, when you got a hit song and the people that are pulling the levers and the strings and all that, they're not that bad. I mean, they know what they're doing.
And they want the same thing as you. Yeah, they do.
They do. I mean, I used to bag on them like, these guys, blah, 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 but they know what they're doing, and they did a damn good job too. I mean, I'm not just realizing that. I've known it all along, but you gotta, I like pointing fingers. No, but yeah, they're great. And it was lots of success. And, it's a corny thing to say. I remember when saying this years and years ago, that to be with you is the gift that keeps on giving. It's kind of corny now, right? When you say it, but it's true. That To Be With You song has provided so much in my life. It's putting my kids through college. It's making everybody happy in my life, and it's getting me out there. I mean, contrary to popular belief, I remember the guys used to go, Eric doesn't want to go on the road that much. I mean, because we went on the road so much. No, I need it. I love it. I crave it. That's why doing all these shows this year, I'm doing back-to-back tours, and I love it. Playing, electric rock and roll for the first time in a while, because I've been, especially in Mexico, I haven't played acoustic solo stuff. I mean, I have played acoustic solo stuff, but now I'm playing full on rock and I'm doing both again, playing acoustic and rock.